Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Between the Covers. My name is Bradley Shaw, and this evening I'm talking to Peter Cox, who is the author of Life's Equation, Decide for a Better Outcome. Thank you, Peter, for joining us, and welcome.
Great to be here, Bradley.
So tell us all about Life's Equations and for you, what it was in writing the book as well.
Well, I always had a yearn to sort of put down life's experience in a way that I could maybe add value to somebody else's life, particularly people coming through the ages and concerned about their financial future. And it struck me that we make decisions all the way through our lives that actually impact on the outcome, particularly our financial outcome. And that's the reason I wrote it. And I'm just in an attempt to maybe pass on some of my experience over a somewhat diverse lifetime, and hopefully somebody can benefit from it.
Good. And I think they will. You've written it very well. You've written it very much a ground floor level of financial exploration. So you're not having to be an expert in mathematics or the financial structures and shares and all the elements that go into that. So you've done it very well. I like the earnestness of it, I guess I could say.
Thank you.
So now you're an accountant also, isn't it? A financial planner. That is your career as well.
I'm not a financial planner. I'm a qualified accountant. I practice as an accountant in tax. And I'm a member of the Tax Institute.
Good. So the credibility there is certainly merited in the book, having that knowledge firsthand, as you say, having many years working with people directly in that, and as you said, motivated to write the book. So tell me, when you first set out to write the book, had it been something you've been planning for a while, or was it something you just inspirationally sat down and went, you know what, this needs to be said?
I was actually COVID inspired.
Yeah.
When COVID hit us back in March of 2020, I had some spare time, and we were all sort of adapting to work from home and juggling our businesses and what have you. So I just sat down and started writing, and it took me a month or two, but it just kept on coming out, and I kept on putting it down.
Wow. Well, but it's interesting you say candidly, it took you a month or two to just put down the notes, but realistically, you've probably been developing it as a premise for really your career. You've evaluated the market, you've understood people's economics, you've understood their lifestyles in a way. So all you've done is really uniformed, I guess, a lot of perceptions you've had or perspectives you've had of doing your job or building your role.
I guess I've noticed right through my life that life has a lot of ups and downs, and I got caught up in some of this. And we all aspire to do great things in life, but sometimes, we go in too quick, we make the wrong decisions, we don't do our homework well enough, and we take things for granted. And I've learned that detail is a very important thing. Whatever you do in life, get your detail right, and then things will flow from there.
Yeah. And have you seen merited success in some of your philosophies and some of your counseling with your clients? Have you been able to show in this book's I guess in the evaluation of this book's scenarios that you've written about, have you seen firsthand some of the successes that if people do some of these simple steps or some of these think about some of these pieces of their life, they can see improvements?
Yeah, particularly the younger people, the people 30 to 45, 50. And that's a formative time in life in terms of your financial management and setting the platform for your financial future. And it's great to see that the younger ones, even 20 to 30, are keen to understand and learn and say, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't even think about that. Superannuation is so far away, and it's not really mine. I didn't really earn, somebody gave it to me, and that's all rubbish. It's the most valuable thing you could have. Yeah. As you know, and reading the book, it's very superannuation-centric, the book.
Yeah.
But in my view, that's also the area that we can actually kick along our financial.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a secure end of it too. That's the big thing. Like one of the things I learned when I was younger was the compounding. I wouldn't even fathom that, of how much small investment can actually build a bigger block in short periods of time, and rolling them through and building, that as a superannuation element as well. It has that process. So yeah, some of the simple truths you've explained are wonderful.
Compounding capital growth, and simple things like instead of banking your dividend check, put it back into a dividend replenishment plan if it's available, because it's amazing how that just accumulates and you just forget about it.
Yeah, and they're things that you don't have to do a lot of work for or a lot of thoughts of. If you can use it and use the system right, your money can actually be growing itself. That's one of the fascinating things that you think about in your book, which I like.
Passive growth is very important.
And that's the thing I think a lot of people don't understand. They think they have to, as you say, they think they have to have a lump sum to start on getting a lump sum. It's like, well, you don't. You just have to start, doing it, and it'll all happen. Yeah. So when you wrote the book, did you find that did you resource a lot of colleagues? Did you resource a lot of data, or did you have a lot of just really directing your own personal experiences into the book, making it more of that personable coaching style book?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I struggled with resourcing colleagues and getting their input. I felt I knew enough about the subject that I was writing about to actually put it down on paper first. Now, sure, others have read it subsequently, but I think I used quite a bit of research, and like sites like Money Smart, and which is an absolute goldmine for anyone because it breaks it down into simple terms. Moneysmart.com.au, I think it is, and just referencing the relevant data, having done studied and worked as an accountant, where you're continually referring to data out there, you learn what is valid and what isn't. And the web is great, but we have the training to sort of cut through anything that's crap and just focus on something that's going to mean something to the readers of the book.
And do you think, I think too, like, in your opinion on this is paramount, because I think it adds to your book's validity, is that I think the quick rich schemes of the sort of late 80s, 90s that came out really fast on get rich was the modem, has tapered off, as you say. And I think now young people are actually reverting back to bricks and mortar, back to strategies that are more sound in investments and money management. Do you find that? Do you find that booming, propaganda of get rich quick scheming that came out in the sort of 90s has faded, and now we're back into more reality, more people are conscious of it?
It's interesting. If it looks too good to be true, then it probably is. And a lot of people who risk their savings just continue to amaze me. Don't do it, because there's a slow, steady way of growing your wealth. You're not going to get rich quick.
No.
The only people who get rich quick are the people who are very smart. They develop their own business and IP, and they control it, but they don't get rich quick.
Still got a
long time for them to get in a position where all of that compounding effect just takes off. For them. So no, you can't get rich quick.
Which is good for people, and you've understood the fundamentals of some of the easy steps they can use in your book, which is wonderful. And those people who are watching, Life's Equation is available in May 15th, and it's wonderful. It's available everywhere books are sold, so you can order it online or in your local bookstore. We do encourage you to go to your local bookstore. We want to support small business, so please drop into your local bookstores. So from your writing technique, Peter, as you are an accountant and you developed a career in that, how did you find transitioning into becoming an author? How did you find constructing the book? You had the information you wanted to share, but did you find writing the book itself a challenge?
Well, that was easy. I just wrote
Oh, well, that ruined my question. You're not supposed to say it's easy.
And what I was thinking, and I put it down on paper. And my experience came through. Fortunately, I had quite a bit of experience in phrasing, in terms of, academic work and referencing, and I found that very useful. The editing process was very good in this whole exercise, and I must compliment you and your team on doing that, because I wrote as I was thinking, so therefore a lot of the grammar seemed to dissipate a little, and but that was really what I was trying to achieve. The anecdotal evidence in the book is pretty much out of here. It's just
so as you say, you write it. And that's the way it should be, because I think it's reading it too. It's not in your face. It's not too structured or dictative. It's very easy to read. It's a conversational read, so it's much more natural. And I think people absorb that information more easily, which is great. So well done on that.
Well, I hope so, and thank you.
Yeah. So what are your plans for future books? Will we get a sequel to a post-COVID financial passion dreams, or what's our next phase?
Yeah, I've already started a book called The Innovation Within You, and it's really based on tapping into, and I do make reference in Life's Equation to this need to really dig deep within your inner self to do better for yourself. And so this book is a much more focused approach to that. And it's designed to take this into career development and to help find something within yourself that actually makes you different. And it's probably discovering something that achieves something different for an individual as well. So that's really what the book's about. It's still early days, but
that sounds exciting. Yeah, that's good. So with Life's Equation, as your first book, as you said, you're going to grow into your second book. But with the first book, have you found anybody who's given you feedback on it, read it, and given you that impression that you're on the mark, on the right money for the book?
Yeah, a number of people have.
Oh, good.
We've got some testimonials on the cover.
Good.
And business people and people who, I guess, have been there and done that, and I've got some very positive feedback.
Well, that's the main thing too. Definitely, you need that encouragement. Do your family support you? Are your family aware of the book?
Yeah, they do. They weren't aware until it was written. My wife was, of course, but my family weren't, and they were sort of blown away by it all. But because it's the first book I've written. But no, they're very supportive.
Good. And tell us all, what would you say now as a new writer, having written, as you say, a few months worth of books and developments, what did you see any interesting quirk that you might have had? Or, like certain writers like to write with certain music or sit in a position, or write at a certain equipment, laptop or typewriter. Do you have an interesting quirk that you might use when you're writing, you've noticed?
It'd be boring, but not really.
No.
This is really heavy stuff, really, because you're referencing all the time, and you write something, and then you've got to go and reference the information and validate it in your own mind, and then you rehash it around. But generally speaking, my quirk is I write what I think. I don't look to structure it too much. I dump it down, and then I go back and edit it and make sure it's it's balanced in the way it's written.
Good. And that's good. That's important to keep it fresh and to keep it interesting, and that's a good style. Some people articulate too much; they get too structured in their writing. You really want to generalize it and keep it casual to the points of what the reader can absorb, and not make it too informative, because otherwise you'll overwhelm everyone. So that's good. That is a good writing quirk. You're writing what you think. So what's your work schedule like when you're writing? Because you're running your own business still, your accounting business. and family and writing. So how did you balance all your schedule? Did you set some time aside? Did you plan it out to make sure that was available, or did you sort of sneak in and out?
No problem. I'm basically excited by the future, and every day I get up, I think, what am I going to do this new today? And so I'm always looking for a new challenge. So I've always got time.
Good.
And it's really exciting to have a wonderful family around you. And I've got 5 grandchildren now, and they keep us busy. And so no, just bring it on.
Oh, good. That's good. That's a good attitude. I like that. So what do you do as opposed to looking after grandchildren? What do you do when you're not writing and working?
I'm a golfer. I'm a member of the Golf Club, and I've been a member there since 1985.
Wow.
And so I play golf twice a week, Saturdays and Wednesdays. I'm a musician. I play piano. I'm currently writing an anthology on modern music from the 20s to the 80s. So I'm heavily influenced by the likes of Cole Porter and George Gershwin,
Fantastic.
but right through to the Beatles, Elton John, Jimmy Webb. Look, a whole raft of people that have made what modern music is today, and I'm writing all that down together with script music and what have you.
That's fantastic.
Some sort of a book. To not let this music die. So that's one of my passions at the moment.
Oh, that's amazing. Well done. And what did you say? Did you play an instrument? What do you play?
I play piano.
Piano. Oh, that's beautiful. Well done. And you've had training formally, like as a kid, like got all taught? You got taught in piano formally, and you're a natural talent. Wow.
I play by ear. I actually cannot read music. It might as well be written in Greek or Chinese. But my son is got a music degree, and we get together frequently, and we have jam sessions. And
that's awesome.
So, it's one of my it's a passion we both share. Yeah. And so that's one of my.
Well, I guess when you've got such a responsible position involved in numbers and all that sort of data and all that researching and all that sort of, the mundane stuff that you have to process through a business and life, you got to have that release. And the music is a wonderful vehicle, and it's great that you're so passionate to do that. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
So what I was going to say, what do you think when you're, I was going to just have to think for a second. Sorry. I was thinking of music, actually. I was just trying to think of go off track there if we go on to music.
Well, we can talk music if you want, Bradley.
No, it doesn't help your book, though, does it? I shouldn't do that.
Well, maybe. Look, it's not all about maintaining your financial future. You've got to enjoy life.
That's right. You've got to live life.
So do what you do well, and that's something I do put in the book. Focus on what you do well rather
what you
than
enjoy.
What you do wrong, and try and improve what's going wrong.
Yeah.
Focus on what you do well that comes naturally, and do better at it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's good. And so, like, when you were younger, what did you want to do? Was accounting that path? Did you find, or did music, were they all both there, but you chose accounting for more security? What was your desires as a young man? Where were you heading? What was your expectation?
I've always been fascinated by accounting. I like the closed loop approach to anything. I like the debits, all debits, summable debits have to equal the summable credits. I love that sort of stuff. So, I always had a tendency to be an accountant. And even when I went into the computer industry, back in the book as well, for about 30 years, I always wanted to be an accountant. And I ended up being an accountant again. So I started life vocationally as an accountant. I'm ending it as an accountant.
Well done.
I know that sounds boring.
Most people, well, it's either that or a dentist. Most people sort of say that's a boring industry. But again, if you're passionate about anything, being a dentist, being an accountant, if you love it, that's your calling. That's what you do, and that's what you enjoy, and so you should. So no, I don't think so. I think if you're good at it, as you said, if you're good at it and you enjoy it, that's it. So with that in mind, for you, how do you I guess, how do you identify literary success? What to you is literary success? Like, where would you say you've achieved being successful as an author for you?
What in reference to the book?
Well, reference to you as an author. How do you see literary success for you? Like, is it the sales of the book being successful? Is it the feedback from readers loving the book being successful?
It's showing young people or younger people, and having them realize after reading the book that I didn't know that. Well, my future's okay. I just need to get this process in place, and time will take care of it, right? Understand the basics of revenue versus capital, and understand the value proposition that lies behind owning your own home, and investing as much as you can into super, and everything else will take care of itself financially. Right?
And it's good too.
That's my main, I guess, measure of success of the book. If
the people are acting it, people are responding to
benefit some way from it.
And that's good. That's great. And it's a good thing. And as I said, I think people, there is so many options, and people get so snowballed in their own lifestyles, and there's so much pressure on things these days for young people. And I think having a certain clarity or a certain simplicity about the future being okay and showing simple steps, I think you've got a much better chance of that. And I think a lot of our readers, I hope our readers will enjoy that and gain from that.
Well, hopefully, yes.
So what do you hope your readers will say about the book, but you pretty much said that as well, that they're going to be able to get the experience back out of it. For you, when you were starting to write the book, did you find you fell into any traditional habits or traits or things that writers, common traps for new writers? Did you feel that you were, like writer's block? Did you suffer any of that? Did you feel that you were trapped by any writing limitations or challenges, or was it fairly straightforward?
I didn't get any writer's block or anything like that.
Oh, good.
There was always a struggle between keeping it simple and yet providing the necessary data to back up what I was saying in the book. And at times it gets a bit complex, and I can understand a lot of readers going to say, what? And yet I had to put that in, right? Because somebody who wants to dig a bit deeper needs to know and look closer at the information to verify the integrity of what I'm suggesting.
Absolutely.
So I'm not saying it's perfect, and I'm sure there'll be some professionals out there who will challenge it in some respect, but a lot of this is opinion. Some people don't think we should be saving in super. We should be doing something else. My experience is that the minute you let people access their super, or the minute you relax the rules by which people should be accumulating wealth through super, then they lose control of their financial future. That's what I want to try and stop. And this early release of super was an outrage as far as I was concerned. And yet they're still talking about it. I just don't understand where the government's coming from.
No, I understand, and it's a challenging situation too for different perspectives. I know under families that are hit by unexpected expenses or high cost areas, super can be a draw card for saving, like as opposed to savings. I agree that it is tapping into a dangerous nest egg. But you've covered that well. You've given it logic. You've given it rationale. So no, I think everybody will understand your passion and your points about your advice in the book and your suggestions. And as you say, it's your opinion, it's your perspective, and your experience that you're summarising and presenting. So I think it's wonderful. So no, I do appreciate your time tonight, Peter. For everybody watching again, the book is available everywhere great books are sold as of May 15th. Coming up very soon. So Peter Cox, thank you and well done on the book. We're looking forward to great success, and everybody please grab a copy from your local bookstore. So thank you, Peter. We're going to wrap up tonight, and thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Bradley. Sure.
No worries. We'll talk soon. Thank you everyone for watching, and grab a book and save some money and make some money. Take care. Thank you.
All right.